studios. This is ABC 27's News at 5:30.
The U.S. Embassy has closed 19 embassies around the world this week in the wake of credible terror threats. Good evening, I'm Rockland Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. The embassies were shuttered yesterday amid concerns over major prison breaks, the impending Eid holiday signaling the end of Ramadan, and an intercepted message among senior al-Qaeda operatives. Barbara Starr has continuing coverage tonight.
The CIA and the National Security Agency had been secretly monitoring intelligence tips for weeks. There were indications of a possible terrorist attack in Yemen, a stronghold of one of al-Qaeda's deadliest affiliates. Alarm bells went off across Washington when a crucial message was intercepted, involving communications in the last several days among senior al-Qaeda operatives.
And this is a wake-up call. Al-Qaeda is in many ways stronger than it was before 9/11.
Final planning for an attack may be complete. Dozens of U.S. intelligence analysts are urgently scouring databases, telephone intercepts, and websites for clues. The U.S. response? Going beyond a worldwide travel warning and closing embassies across the Middle East and North Africa. After meeting with commanders, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel ordered U.S. forces in Spain and Italy onto a higher state of alert. 1,500 Marines on board 3 Navy warships in the Red Sea will now remain off the coast of Yemen, ready to react. CNN has agreed to an administration official's request to withhold details of the intercept that helped trigger the response because the information is so sensitive. But the top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee confirms it's the controversial NSA electronic surveillance program that picked up the alarming terrorist chatter.
What we have heard is some specifics on what's intended to be done, and some individuals who are making plans, such as we saw before 9/11.
Joining us on the phone tonight is Mark Garcia, former U.S. Army officer and international security expert. Colonel Garcia, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us. And let's get right to it. These threats are credible. They're coming across specifically from the NSA. And with all of the things that the NSA has been going through in the past, can we look at them as having the credibility to say these threats should cause the closure of embassies?
Rockman, these threats are not only credible, they're very specific. The NSA, with the DIA and the CIA, are collecting all this chatter, and it's been sent to the Director of National Intelligence. And yes, it was a good move. It was a very smart move to close the embassies and consulates.
Now, Mark, you just got off the phone with some of your contacts on the inside. What are they saying? Are they scrambling around? What's happening on the inside that you can tell us?
Well, without getting into any methods and sources, the various intelligence agencies, along with foreign intelligence agencies, have picked up the information, they've connected the dots, and just like 9/11, we are able to determine at this time that these are very specific and very credible threats. They're not actionable intelligence at this time, but they are very specific.
Now, you worked in the region, and the Eid holiday, which signals the end of Ramadan, is a pretty holy time. Is that something that they have always been cautious about since there have been wars with al-Qaeda?
Sure. The end of the holidays, the birthdays of specific people, the deaths of specific people in the area, the closing of regimes, the ends of the Egyptians, Assyrians, all that raises time to pay particular attention to what al-Qaeda is doing.
Will this cause the United States to possibly send military forces overseas to protect our interests there?
Well, I couldn't say that, but I can say that the U.S. military is well poised to react anywhere in the world. I understand there's been some movement of some naval ships in the region, and that'll be a power projection platform for the U.S. to respond at any time needed.
Thank you so much. Again, Mark Garcia, security expert on the line with us. We will be following this case, again, as the government has said that there are credible threats. Now, of course, the CIA has not released any specific details about the threats, but they have warned Americans who are traveling in the Middle East region to beware and, if possible, postpone travel plans. Well, it's now day 21 of the Dream Defender sit-in at the Florida Capitol, but the costs continue to rise. Now, the Capitol Police and authorities have estimated the total cost at near $300,000. That includes substantial overtime for security guards and other staff members staying late to oversee what the protesters have going on as they sleep there outside of the governor's office. Now, the Dream Defenders are calling on Governor Rick Scott and the Florida legislature to come together in a special legislative session to talk about Florida's Stand Your Ground law. Now, just days ago, I had the opportunity to spend the night with the Dream Defenders in the Capitol. You can join me for that behind-the-scenes special report tomorrow on the news at 5:30. Now, tonight, a video circulating on social media is causing concerns about the Midway Volunteer Fire Department. Residents are questioning firefighters' response time after a home was recently burned down. Now, this is all that's left of a home that was engulfed in fire last month. The call log shows both Quincy and Midway firefighters were dispatched at 11:28 a.m. on the morning the house caught fire. Now, Midway Fire Department arrived on the scene about 11:47. But the video circulating on Facebook says it took them 25 minutes to get there. Now, the city manager, Auburn Ford, says the response time would depend on how many firefighters were nearby when they received the call because it is a volunteer fire force.
When they respond to the call, the city of Quincy probably get there faster than the city of Midway. Because they'll roll right out of their station. They'll be there quicker than our officers. Got to come from wherever they're at, come to the station, get the truck, and get to the fire.
Tonight on the news at 6, we'll tell you what the city is doing to help recruit more firefighters in the area. Well, this weekend it was WTXL ABC 27's Jazz in the Park concert series. Casanova Nurse came down, and the rain did not follow him there. And it was an amazing event. The Scott Campbell Trio was there. They brought Janice and Avis, two wonderful singers that serenaded us through the night. This was the largest, from what we understand, the largest attended group of people that came out. And there were several winners who got to be VIP at the concert in the park right up front with the food from Harry's. So it was just a great time. And I think I'm still trying to recover from being there this weekend. We had a full weekend this weekend, huh?
Yeah, with the back-to-school fair at Governor Square, also well-attended, and Mobile Weather Wall was a popular hit, and of course all that music, a great Saturday.
All that music. And everybody was wondering, they kept asking, Casanova's here, we know it, so we know that Mother Nature's going to cooperate. Because when you looked in the sky, it looked one way, but
yeah,
just where we were, it was perfect.
We had one shower north Leon County. It was moving east, so it gave us a nice little breeze, and the rain just avoided Ponce de Leon Park entirely. So that's been the theme. It seems like a couple neighborhoods get in on rain. Many more of us just might have some threatening skies, but misses out on other portions of the region, and that's been the pattern since the weekend. That continues today, but what does form has the potential to be heavy. Just like what we had in southern Taylor County, southwestern side of Lafayette County as well, just about 20 minutes ago. This lone spot of rain on 51 was producing hundreds of lightning flashes, including cloud-to-ground strikes, but the nature of the storms, they build up in a certain level of strength. They start to rain themselves out, and then they collapse in about 30-45 minutes. But what is left of this, probably a little bit of the outflow boundary from the original thunderstorm, producing new areas of rain on the north end of Highway 19 in Taylor County. This has been growing a little bit, not incredibly strong, but some downpours for a brief moment. If you're having travel plans through that route in the near future, could have a little bit of a downpour, which could reduce visibility. So we'll see how that behaves with the environment, which is very heavily capped by an area of high pressure. Sinking air motion aloft limits the ability of these thunderstorms to build vertically and really have a long-lasting life. So what does form just pops right up and diminishes pretty quickly. And that's probably going to be the case for the night ahead. I think if we have any more developing showers, they'll be around the bend, just inland from the coast, and then once we go deeper into the night, any rain chances really fall off the edge. They're not all that high to begin with, so maybe you could get on a shower that could really push your temperatures down. The rest of us, however, with a very sultry evening, temperatures in the 90s, falling through the 80s very slowly. More details about the forecast, whether or not there will be any cooling or maybe additional showers to push down temperatures, all coming up in your Storm Team forecast.
Well, football is back for Valdosta State University. We'll take you to the first practice of the season. And suspensions have been announced for Major League Baseball players, including Alex Rodriguez. We've got breaking news, and we'll talk about the penalties that they'll be facing. Plus, it's a memorial for the victims of the California Boardwalk hit and run. We'll see what witnesses had to say. But first, don't forget to join me tonight for Bounce News at 7, where we'll talk about exactly what the threats are in the Middle East and why the U.S. government is so concerned. We'll have your comments. You can tweet me at RockmanJ or at Bounce TV Tally. Join in the discussion. It's Bounce News at 7, Comcast Cable Channel 209, TV and news our way.
Titan Doppler Radar is sponsored by Kraft Nissan.
Doctors rely on X-rays to help them diagnose injury and disease. This is where you come in. As a radiologic technologist, you prepare patients for procedures and perform diagnostic imaging exams. Radiologic technologists are in demand in hospitals, physicians' offices, and imaging centers. Prepare for a career as a radiologic technologist by calling Kaiser now at 888-639-2842.
Launch sequence initiated. 15 seconds and counting.
At KFC, we have one mission.
And T-minus 10.
Serve the world's best tasting chicken. That's why our whole chicken is delivered fresh and prepared fresh by real cooks.
T-minus 5.
With KFC's world-famous secret recipes. Taste why fresh is better.
1.
Try an 8-piece meal of our freshly prepared chicken, 2 large sides, and 4 biscuits. Now with 10 of our new Hot Shot Bites, all for just $19.99.
Mission accomplished.
Hey folks, Brian Sanford with Answer One Motors, and I'm here to tell you I don't care. That's right, I don't care if you've been late on your credit card, had a medical collection, had a car payment, or a mortgage payment that's late. If you have a job or receive retirement or Social Security income and want a newer car or truck today, call 765-0042. That's 765-0042, or come by and see us at